Hello and welcome to the Climbing Daily Wednesday news show. On this week we've got all the action from the IFSC in Vila this weekend. The Crack of Destiny gets a first ascent. And the EpicTV shop summer sales roll on. Grab yourself a bargain. Hugo and Terry are away, so you've just got me this week. But luckily, we're talking about the IFSC and I happen to be there. So that's what we're going to begin with. And spoiler alert, if you don't know who's won yet, avoid this part of the show. This weekend, we saw the second Lead World Cup of the year and a Speed World Cup taking place in Villars-sur-Olon in Switzerland. The women's comp featured a spectacular move near the top, requiring the athletes to rotate and twist to face the crowd. Only Mia Krampel and Janja Garnbret did it the intended way. For the women, and it was Janja who topped out the route, enjoying that moment of facing the crowd before continuing to clip the chains and claim gold. Jessie Pilz got her second medal in a row after bronze in Innsbruck with an upgraded silver in Switzerland, who was just half a plus point higher than Brooke Raboutou, who took bronze. Brooke pushed out Cheon So, who got the same score, but due to countback came fourth. For the men, we saw a podium made up of the older and perhaps more experienced side of the field, a bit of a podium of legends. Jakob Schubert took the gold in style on the upper head wall. Adam Ondra, climbing in his first Lead Cup of the year, got the silver, and Alex Megos held on for a long time after climbing early for bronze. Toby Roberts was just a plus behind for fourth place. The speed comp saw exciting races and heartbreaking full starts. The men's small final was between Samuel Rotson and Ryu Omasa. It was close, but a slip from Sam gave the bronze to Ryu. In the main final, Jingguo Long won gold after his opponent Ling Zhang also fell. For the women, Li Juandeng pipped Patrice Colli to bronze, and in the main final, Natalia Kaluchka won her first ever speed gold, beating Emma Hunt in the last race, who again had a bit of a slip. So lots to unpack, and first of all I wanted to talk about Ropegate that happened during the women's semi-final. There was a move where you had to jump out towards the left and grab a sloper, and 3 of the women caught the rope in their heel. Now, it wasn't a deliberate thing, it wasn't their fault, but there was a big debate about whether it had helped or hindered their run. When you watched it in slow motion, it did look like their momentum was stopped, but talking to the athletes, they were saying how it actually got in the way, and in fact, Jessica Pilz hooked that rope and fell. It was in the hands of the judges. They decided not to pursue it, so those appeals were left, and the order maintained itself into the finals, but certainly an interesting talking point. Janja Garnbret was incredible. 2 golds in a row for her. She said the route was pretty easy for her standard, but she was the only one to top it out. She's now going to take a bit of a break, so we won't see her in Chamonix and Briançon, but she'll be back in the World Champs in Bern in a couple of weeks. And in fact, a lot of athletes are going to be doing the same kind of thing. They just needed to do enough World Cups to get the points required to qualify for various things. So it'll be interesting over the next couple of weeks about who turns up and whether we see some new winners and some new podium finishes. Time will tell. Any other talking points at sea? Speed, yeah, lots and lots of falls from them, but it was very, very exciting from everybody. And it was generally a really, really good comp. Shame to see Sasha Lehmann not repeat his gold medal. He was disappointed not to get out of the semi-finals, but again, he'll be back stronger in Bern. So Chamonix coming up at the end of this week. Make sure you subscribe. I'm sure EpicTV will be doing some stuff on the sidelines as well as the IFSC. Okay, let's move on to talk about hard bouldering. Clément Lechartois first tried La Force Tranquille, an 8C in Magic Wood, in 2020. He was close to sending it before bad conditions came in that year, and there is a full interview about this on 8a.nu. After a couple of seasons of less than ideal conditions, he returned and tried this for 4 days. Everything felt better, and he climbed the 8C on his second go from the ground. A satisfying way to tick the project. Magic Wood season has fully kicked off, and in fact Team USA, a couple of them hit up Magic Wood on the way to Villars. I know on Colin Duffy's Instagram account, I think he climbed Riverbed and Never Ending Story, which are the 2 classic endurance thuggy boulders. So it'll be interesting to see if some of the athletes before Bern hit up Magic Wood either before or after, and what they can do in that amazing forest. Okay, at the beginning of the show I mentioned the Crack of Destiny. So it's time to find out about the Crack of Destiny. An interesting story now as we look at a climber turned monk returning to climber. Didier Berton has climbed the first ascent of the Crack of Destiny, which is probably as hard as 8C or 8C+. It could be one of the hardest crack climbs in North America. Didier quit climbing in 2015 to become a monk and returned in 2020. He spent over 30 days trying to send the project and pink-pointed it first with the gear in situ. 3 days of effort later, he managed to red-point it, placing all the gear on lead. With that project done, Didier will now turn his attention to others, including Cobra Crack, which he has yet to climb. That crack looks absolutely amazing, such an aesthetic line as it kind of curves around. And it was interesting to read about that process, working it, seeing if the moves are possible, pinpointing it when you put the gear in and then you just clip the gear. So you've still got the potential that it might fall out, but at least it's in place. That wasn't enough for him. He went back, pulled all the gear and then placed it all on lead, which is considered to be the best style of climbing that route. So nice one from him. The monk story is fascinating. Love to know more about that. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about a big wall climb in Alaska, and that was from alpinists Silvia and Stefano from Italy. Now, they have sent us an interview, I don't know where from actually, maybe from Alaska or from back here. We'll find out, but here's the interview.
The ascent is in the southwest face of the cemetery spire in the Kichaktenas. We climb a line straight to the summit, following several crack systems with difficulties up to 512 and A1+. We climb on the 4th, 5th and 6th of June.
The first week the weather was very bad with snowfall and low cloud base. So every time the sun came up, all the couloirs and the walls were affected by big avalanches and also rockfall. So the choice has been forced because the cemetery spire was a little bit protected by another wall, and so was more dry and sunny, and was very easy to saw it from our base camp, and so we decided to go there and try the line.
Congratulations guys, awesome to do a route like that, alpine styly in the coldest and biggest of settings. Absolutely terrifying is Alaska, just because of the weather windows. I mean, you could go for an entire month and only get a few days. It's a bit like Patagonia, you got to pick and choose your chances, and risky ascents like that are full on. So congratulations. Okay, we've got a big 9A counter or roundup, so let's get to that. Arne Festavit is clearly feeling in endurance form. He's climbed the 65-metre route Valhalla in the Flatanger Cave in Norway. In an interview on 8A.nu, he says how he spent 50+ sessions on it over 5 trips. In that interview, he describes his whole process and the final day where improved conditions allowed finally the route to go. On the same day, his climbing partner and belayer Leo Bose spent over an hour battling Thor's hammer, a 9A at the same crag. He tried it again on his last day, and despite not being fully rested, it meant he had to fight. He waited for over 35 minutes resting on the wall, trying to recover for the last section. He had to dig deep, but eventually clipped those chains. Finally, Tyler Thompson has repeated the Joe Kinder route Bone Tomahawk, a 9A+ in the Finn Cave, as reported by 8A.nu. Joe Kinder actually downgraded the route to 9A after some knee bars were found, and Tyler agrees with that downgrade. He climbed it on his 4th day of trying. Cool 9A roundup, the Flatanger Cave getting some love. And it's interesting, in the last couple of weeks I've learnt more about conditions in that cave, both from Adamondra and Jakob Schubert, who were telling me just how rarely that thing is fully dry. So to find conditions like they did, you just have to sort of go for it and take every opportunity you can, which they did, so nice one guys. Now, 9B counter time, but I think it's going to be a disappointment. If you look back to last week's show, Teresa, who was sitting over there, specifically said that she would buy chalk and write up on the chalkboard. But to be fair to her, she's been very busy with the Arc'teryx Alpine Academy stuff. There's lots of social media going out about that event, so make sure you check it out on those channels. But for the time being, I think it might have to wait for another week. And there's no 9Bs, so hey. So the Arc'teryx Alpine Academy at the weekend, our main sponsors, of course, one of the biggest event of the year. And I know she got loads of cool content coming soon to Epic TV from that, so keep your eyes peeled. Now, I mentioned a massive summer sale shop deal on the Epic TV shop. And when I'm talking about shops, remember we actually have a physical shop now. It's near to Chamonix in a place called Cluses, which is easily on the way to and from Geneva Airport if you're flying in. So there's no excuse not to come and check it out. You can order online and pick it up here. We've got bouldering pads, climbing shoes, everything you could ever want. And if you come into the shop, you can try stuff on, so why not? And we have up to 50% off some items. Especially look towards clothes, because for example, Patagonia and Rab up to 40%. We don't often see discounts that good on such high-end gear. And if you scroll through the website, you're going to find all manner of bargains. But remember, this is a sale. Once something sells out, it's gone. So if you're one of those people who wait until the very end of a sale to see if things might change, well, they probably won't, and you might lose your item. So add them to your basket, click quickly, and get a bargain discount while you can. Okay, content. And last week we had a special video about Action Direct. We've got more teaser footage from that video, so roll the clip.
So the route starts with like 5 meters, like going 6A, easy climbing. And then you get under the roof and it gets like all crazy because you need to clip like above your head. You can't see really any hold, and you reach for the mono that you can't really see at that point. And yeah, it's really bad, the mono. And yeah, you're just like jumping pretty far away to a very good hold, but the move is really crazy. Like basically it's the hardest move of the route, but yeah, once you figure out how to do it, you don't really fall there. So then you clip, and then you do kind of crazy, like very far cross move into not so bad 2-finger pocket, and then you kind of like continue like 3 moves on not so bad 2-finger pockets, and then you reach like the crimp in the middle, which is like not so bad, not so good, but always a little bit wet or kind of damp. And yeah, there it gets pretty exciting because you have 2 ways how to continue through the route.
That video is available on the main Epic TV YouTube channel. So there's Climbing Daily and Epic TV. Make sure you subscribe to both of those channels because we have different types of videos coming from both. So you need to subscribe to both so you don't miss any of the action, if that makes sense. Okay, comment of the week, and I'm by myself, which means I get to sing, so I'm going to sing fully. It is the comment of the week. No applause? No applause, just me by myself in the studio. Right, this is from Volker Schmitz 2946, and he says, not a good idea bringing a climbing rope in the hand luggage. He didn't get past airport security in Tenerife. Flying back to Austria, he needed to leave his trusty BL Joker there. Disaster. Oh yeah, this was from Terry saying that she managed to get a rope through in hand luggage and it was absolutely fine. And she's correct. Like, sometimes it is absolutely fine to do that. I've done it both ways. But every now and again, an airline will say no, like the person commenting there. And it's very, very hard to find information online about exactly what kind of climbing products they'll allow onto hand luggage. I have occasionally got away with quick draws and ropes in hand luggage, but you always have that little bit of nerves when it's going through the security checkout. So it does seem to change between airlines and airports. I'm saying this as a warning to you. Do try it, it'll probably work, but if it doesn't, don't blame us. Does that make sense? I think that's fair. Okay. Right, that's it. No more news now. The guys will be back next week, or a combination of some of us. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.